Hi there, it's Sandy, your sister and your friend. Welcome to today's video. I was thinking about, I've been thinking a lot about this world being a dream world, and are we all just sleepwalking? And I have to tell you, I'm pretty sure that that's what I have been doing. Um, and I think it's really because this world isn't real. It's something made up by our collective ego, and it's supported by the conditioning that we receive in this world. The Jesuits had said 400 years ago, give me the child up to age 7 and I'll show you the man. And science really supports that our conditioning from our world, in this world, this dream world, is hardwired in by the age of 7. And this conditioning is supported by our family, because our family's conditioned, by our culture, our school, our religion, our job, every institution, the government of the country that we live in. All of these institutions are actually formed by our collective ego, and they each play a role in the conditioning process. And honestly, I know for myself, for instance, that through my conditioning, I was actually taught to like certain people groups and to dislike other people groups because they weren't like us. And I doubt that that's all that different from other people. It may not be quite that overt as it was in my upbringing. If we were ever to get still, lay down our attack weapons, and look in somebody else's eyes, I think we would see that we're all just one human race, that we all share one life, and that's God's life. And we would stop fighting each other, and we would realize that we're not separated from each other or from God. When I first started to wake up in 2020, it was really hard for me to believe that this world was a dream world, because I had been conditioned to believe that everything I see with and encounter with my physical senses was real, and that everything that I had been taught was the truth. So it wasn't until I started questioning, well, what do I actually believe? What really resonates in my heart? It wasn't until then that I started waking up to, like, maybe this isn't all true. And it was really hard for me to grasp that, honestly. And I started really with my religious beliefs, because what I'd been taught as far as my religion was a lot of hell, fire, and damnation was a big part of my upbringing. And that there were two things by that time that I really believed were true. And one was that God is love, and the other is that all things are one with God, and which makes us all one with each other. And so I was willing then to let go of anything that didn't align with those two truths that I held to be immutable. And then what happened over the last 2 years, since 2022, I started to meditate. Now, that was something that was not encouraged by my religious upbringing. But what I found is, as I began to get still and really get into this consciousness, a sense of being one with God, a sense of realizing that the kingdom of heaven is within me, that I would vibrate. I could actually feel my body vibrating. And when I would vibrate at higher levels, I felt like I was, and I still feel like I'm raising the collective consciousness of the entire earth. And that what I pray for in these times of stillness, that I actually send love and peace to people groups who are fighting against each other. And if they can get still, they'll realize that there's a gift waiting for them there from God because of my prayers for them. And that goes for everybody who's praying for peace in other nations. Now, the impact that this has had on my life is that I'm happy just about all the time. And any time that I notice that I'm just out of this happiness frequency just a little bit, I know absolutely without a doubt that there's something that has hit something inside of me. It's not something or somebody outside of me. I just need in that moment to get still and to look inside and to let that thing rise up. And that negative energy, if I will allow it to, if I will just get still, it will come up and the spirit will transmute it into love, because I know that there's nothing outside of me that has any power to take my happiness, my joy, my peace, my love, none of those. So it's just me now getting still. It used to be that I would just say, oh, I'm going to change this about myself. And I would grit my teeth and I would say, okay, willpower, kick in here and make this thing different. And you know what? That might change it for a little while, but it never had any staying power. I would slip back into the old ways unless I really let the divine energy inside of me do all the work. Me just getting still and being willing to let it go and let it come up to be translated by the Spirit. I recently read Anthony DeMello's book called Awareness, and in that he writes this about a definition of an awakened person. He said it's a person who no longer marches to the drum of society, a person who dances to the tune of music that springs from within. Well, how do we turn and tune to this music that is within every one of us? It's not we have to create it or we have to look for it. It's there. But how do we hear that music? Well, I found that a lot of times the easiest time for me to hear this music is when I'm still in theta waves, like real early in the morning when I'm first starting to wake up. I turn my attention to thoughts about God in those very early waking moments, and also just before falling asleep at night, those theta waves before in and out of a sleep state. I find I can tune into God very easily during those times, and I'm really turning inside and I'm communing with God and inside with me as well. I think also when we get into nature and we actually look at something in nature, we look at a leaf, we hug a tree, we look at an insect in its eyes and see how grand it looks when we look up close at something. We smile more. We take things less seriously. We actually laugh at ourselves and we don't try to form an opinion about something being good or bad. We just take things as they come and allow them to pass on through our life and find the humor in them. I find another thing that seems to be helpful is to speak affirmations to ourselves, maybe even while we're looking in the mirror, to say things like, I am loved, I am worthy, I am created to be loved and to be loved and to love, and nothing has changed about the way God created me. And speaking these affirmations while you're looking at your own eyes, I think is really, really powerful. And repetition has a lot of power for us, is to say things about ourselves and to ourselves that are affirming. And all those things are true. These things are not, I'm not saying say something about yourself that's not true. Everything I just said is absolutely true about you and about me. And may we just hold on to those things by reinforcing them in our own minds and change the way we think about ourselves. You know what I'd really like to do, my goal for the rest of my life, is to be able to look into this life and to see everything I see out there with love and forgiveness. That would be my mindset. And when I do that fully, I know that I'm overcoming fear and doubt and being deluded by things that I see with my physical eyes, if I set that as my intention. And honestly, the freedom that I have enjoyed so far in doing that far surpasses anything that this world has ever did hold for me. And I think that the Holy Spirit is looking for us just to have a little willingness to be free. The Spirit is always there willing to help us if we just want to change our mind and just make a new decision. And may we do that today so that we do get the freedom that's there for us. It's just waiting for us. It's our gift waiting for us to open it up. God bless you so much. I love you. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and tell me how do you get free? How do you affirm the truth about yourself? I would love to hear it. And what are you doing to decondition yourself from this made up dream world? Just so you know, I am wearing my sling still. I did break the humerus and this, but you know what? I am still choosing to see the very positive outcome. I'm doing exercises. I'm going to start physical therapy, and I just see being able to fully function. I don't know when and how this bone fills itself in, but I believe it's already happening, and that's the joy. I see that joy and happiness of being there. So God bless you. I love you so much. Take care.